Welcome back, guys. We are here after game number 3. And I remember I took a look at LS's script. Everybody thought SKT was going to come in here and stomp face, and we were going home like this, but Griffin came in and they said, nope. That's what I saw on the script that made me so surprised, because honestly, with the way games 1 and 2 went, that was not the way it was looking to go. But Griffin, they come in with an interesting strategy, send support, they make the ganks happen, they mental boom Khan. And that puts us in a really weird spot now for game 4, where maybe it's SKT who's in a little bit of a rattled state of mind.
SKT have their final side selection of the series. They chose blue. The chances of us staying with SK Telecom T1 on blue side 5 games in a row, if we go to a game 5, they're basically realized now. And let's see what adaptations SKT will make, because so far they haven't had to do too much thinking about their banning on blue side.
We'll see if they do change anything up, or if they think that the backstage talk was maybe enough to just handle a Shen. It's always a possibility.
Now,
Varus.
Order of bans has changed here. Varus first ban on the red side. Remember previously LeBlanc, Varus, Aatrox have been the bans that have been largely thrown out on red side. Blue side bans for now stay the same. I wonder if the Viking will be open in game number 4.
Definitely an interesting question. Also, because the LeBlanc was not banned, Griffin now throwing some more caution to the wind and looking to ban something new with the Ezreal getting taken away, LS.
Ezreal now being banned. We'll have to see if SK Telecom are going to mix anything up, though. Will they just ban the Olaf and basically say, no, we'll just adjust to whatever happens?
How high priority will a Kai'Sa or a Xayah be for SKT with 280 carry bans? And does Griffin just ban a third and really try to force out a very early 80 carry? I mentioned already, but Teddy has been very selfless with his 80 carry picks, picking first round wherever possible. A lot is open. Akali, Elise, Aatrox, all open in this draft because the Renekton was the final ban on red side. Does leave open some very nice lane matchups for the Aatrox.
Well, looks like they are really considering the Akali. And it will be locked in, so let's see what Griffin's response is going to be.
LeBlanc, remember, available and a very viable pick into Akali, but we've already seen Akali top, so that'd be a pick you would want later in the draft. The Sejuani versus the Sylas jungle matchup is entirely intact as a duo. The Elise priority has been super high. The Aatrox will be taken here. Ooh. I was expecting this when the Renekton ban came in on red. What we're feeling about the Elise is maybe one of the pivotal decisions of whether it needs to be taken now or whether there's more time to consider on that particular jungle pick.
One of the curious things for me, I do suppose, is the Aatrox able to be flexed because Gangplank can come in on the side of SKT. There is the Kai'Sa.
Means that Xayah Rakan kind of jumps off the page as you're, well, we're SKT, we're picking our duo lane early, but a Morgana pick and then some bans could come in on the side of Griffin. So there's a lot going on here. Remember that Lahen's plays all sorts of really interesting support picks if he can get away with it. So Xayah is really expected to be the 80 carry pick with how SKT have been approaching drafts before. Do they go the full Xayah Rakan, or is it just a Xayah Braum to find another defensive lane?
I think Xayah Rakan would give them a lot more control inside of the game and a lot more authority, especially because if they're going to have a team fighting kind of game, Griffin, last game, they almost botched that end stage 5 versus 4. They just narrowly edged it out, and it will be the Xayah and Rakan, and now Volibear.
Volibear has been the Korean answer to the Rakan more than something like the Leona or the Morgana that you would see in other regions. We still get our Leona games. What are we going to do here? This would be more for the synergy with Kai'Sa rather than attacking the Rakan. Attacking the Rakan's what they want to do. We're trying to inflict body blows on the side of Griffin in the draft, so pushing up the Xayah Rakan priority is what they do, and getting a counter pick is how they utilize that advantage.
Jace and GP bans should possibly be on the menu.
You know, another guy who's hit the ban list, not to cut you off, a lot here in the second phase was Kennen. You know, we saw a lot of Kennen bans, and no sign of Nico either. Those champions kind of similar, but we'll see if either of those also hit the ban list here, as the LeBlanc that was left off the page from earlier is now banned.
They seem to be wanting to have the Akali top lane. They're going to be looking for a LeBlanc ban here. Yep, the Elise. Finally, it's the ban list. No junglers selected between the two teams just yet.
Now, Griffin have to decide on a final ban. I'd be very surprised to see another mid lane focused ban, given that Akali already exists, and it's not that likely that it would be Flex. Sylas, I think, is more so focused at jungle.
And it's also ban Sylas, pick Sejuani.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they're saying in this particular case. That's how I like using bans in second round, because it's, okay, well now we get an advantage if you don't follow our lead, and it means SKT kind of lose a ban, or need a creative answer like Skarner, or maybe the Trundle rollback into the Sejuani.
Karthus.
Ah, interesting. So Tarzan does fall back to Karthus pretty often.
And Eve.
Those are his two big mages he likes to run from the jungle. So SKT have a read with the Aatrox top lane and no other solo laner locked in, that was going to be the way to go. This is what we would have expected. Sometimes you can next level yourself. Sejuani into the last pick here. Now, the one thing this could do is decrease the amount of magic damage in the comp coming through from Griffin, because you're kind of plugging and playing another melee laner with the Sejuani.
What it can mean is that if SKT go something like Trundle Gangplank as an answer to the team composition, Chovy can just go on Aatrox, and then you can respond to the Gangplank with a Kennen or a Nico. Vladimir. There's so many options for Griffin to pivot. This makes it a really awkward situation where perhaps you do just give Khan his premier Jace to go up against the Aatrox in top.
It really is starting to feel like a Vladimir and then Aatrox mid, because actually Griffin are the only Korean team to play Aatrox mid at any point. SKT look like they're actually threatening the Azir. Well, lock it in this game.
That is Faker's undefeated in summer Azir. He is 8-0 on the Azir. We have not seen him pick their ban before now, but Faker decides enough of the playtime. Let's bring out the big boys.
Syndra one time.
Vladimir, it's kind of what I have on my mind. You got a champion you want to throw out there, Valdez?
Well, let's throw something out. What?
Oh,
you ruined it.
You said Jace, right?
You
said
nailed it!
You really said Jace, I know.
Yeah.
The handwriting, it's just so sloppy.
I know. How am I supposed to read this?
Now, this is a tricky draft to play from the side of Griffin. The reason why I say that is magic damage is 3+ items, Kai'Sa loading on the AP. And you look at the draft and you say, okay, 2 physical damage melee champions, at least Jason Hammer form, for the Sejuani to gank. But also, Volibear needs kind of a lot of jungle attention to work as a 2v2 lane. So where the Sejuani goes, if that's dictated to by SKT, could mean the draft is hard to pilot.
I mean, the thing for me is I feel like this is really bad draft by Griffin. And the reason that I think that is because the short proximity in mid lane, it's going to be really hard for Aatrox to get any sort of an advantage against Azir. He's going to be able to coast into mid and late game freely. The Jace against the blue side of Kali. What do you do as Sejuani up there? How do you pay attention to all 3 lanes? And when your champions need to get ahead and can't play from behind, the draft just seems like a huge blunder to me.
Now, bot is still a lane they could focus, because Volibear, Flip comes in, melee auto attacker, and things could happen there. I take what you're saying, and especially the range situation is almost irreparable when we get later, and Feathers and Azir, like how do you respect all that in a 5v5? You probably don't, you probably luck out there, but there are multiple lanes you can attack, and already game number 3 was all about the jungle.
Well, talking about game number 3, we're going past that into number 4. Let's hop onto the Rift right now for this game.
It's do or die.
Here we go, guys, into game number 4. Griffin have found that light in the darkness. That was the first 2 games. They pulled out a win. They bullied Khan, and they bought themselves another chance at coming back. But we have had a couple of guys on the desk here already say that SKT got the better of the draft. We'll have to wait and see how this one plays out, and if Tarzan can make as big of an effect as he did in game number 3 here in this game number 4.
If he can, I'm more of an optimist on the Griffin draft than LS is. Notice that Tarzan has got Unsealed Spellbook, so could be getting creative. Want to put a little shout out there to you stats buffs, because we actually have an important stat with this game on Azir. Faker's career most played champion is now Azir, 1 game ahead of his Orianna that has been his most played ever since about 2013. He has really been known for his Orianna, but that means that Azir now takes the ascendancy. 68% career win rate, 60 games until this point on Azir.
And the interesting thing for me looking at this game is going to be the Infernal Dragon that's going to spawn first. Now, with the Spellbook on Sejuani, it's not the best combat stat super early on. And the Azir likely to have Prio at a moment's notice, even against the Aatrox. Xayah Rakan, they can flip a switch. That's a really scary thing if you're Griffin. You're not likely to get Infernal. I don't know what they're supposed to do if they drop an Infernal, because then even if they get gold advantages, turrets, several thousand gold, doesn't mean anything. Akali, Azir, Xayah, you can sit back and relax, scale 3-4 items. Then how does Griffin win?
I think if you don't get going through the jungle, I don't think if Sejuani doesn't have multiple lanes to gank, I think the simple answer is you don't, LS. So he is going to be very much focused on that. Want to also comment on the why of the Unsealed Spellbook. Remember, it is Trundle, who has that preferential interaction with the Sejuani passive and Aftershock. So we saw, for example, Dread would go into Hail of Blades on the Sejuani. Unsealed Spellbook, another way to not opt into those really big subjugate trades when the teamfight phase rolls around.
Yeah, so definitely pretty cool. We've seen some fun stuff with the Unsealed Spellbook from the jungle, such as counter ganks with teleport, which have happened from time to time here in the Eo-Ci-Kei. And other, fun stuff. You have your smite for the jungle, but you can use a bunch of other stuff for ganking and stuff like that.
Really interesting. I've never seen this before, but Griffin are laning 2v2 with double sweeper with their Kai'Sa and Volibear. Now, in melee versus melee support matchups, or I guess Rakan is range, but a short range champion, but with an engaged support and a counter pick like the Volibear is into the Rakan based on Korea, that's to allow yourself to play aggressive. Speaking of,
hey, talk about that engage from the Volibear. We're pushing pretty close to the turret, though. This isn't an Elise. It's a Sejuani, remember, so it will be a bit harder to gank. Tarzan spending a bunch of time down here, not really able to find much, and Klid also in the right position. Coming on down towards the bottom side, is able to push away that gank to no avail.
This is going to mean that Tarzan actually falls behind in the jungling department. It's going to be slower on tempo now for these camps. And Infernal, it's coming up in 40 seconds, and it's not as though SKT is just going to drop everything and go and get it, but it is going to be something that should potentially be on the agenda pre-10 minutes.
To hear comms at level 1 would have been so interesting. The moment you see double sweeper, Volibear counterpick into your Rakan, you know the bot lane focus is likely to come out. You were respectful. Notice, summoner spell-wise, Teddy has the most selfish sustainability, with heal come from his support, Guardian coming from his support, and Barrier coming through from the Xayah. So that's a lot of bonus health, not even including something like the Battle Dance Shield.
Yeah. Just a lot of extra tools that were well read by SKT coming into this one. Nice ward to spot Tarzan up in the top side means that even with just the Tri-Brush ward, Teddy and Effort can play very aggressive down here. And for a while now, they'll have control of this bottom lane.
Darn didn't take a great trade to open up, but we'll be able to do just fine. Kali outscale matchup, kind of know how this one goes. You can go Dirk early, and then the lack of Hexdrinker hurts you. Offside, Klid's here. This is Predator Trundle, you should remember.
Well, he's going to be... Oh, he's not even going to get the bite off. As,
What do you got over there? That's that wide expression on your face, LS.
I don't even know what they're both looking at. I don't know. Clid goes in with the Predator and the Pillar. Khan looked like he was reading last week's newspaper. I don't know.
He was doing the crossword.
He was trying to rush down level 6, but in the end it all looked very off, right? So definitely one you don't want to remember.
Glass half full. I get it. It's all right. I understand.
It's great to have the both of you on the desk and have your varying viewpoints.
The truth lies somewhere in the middle, more often than not.
Yeah. It's definitely the way you have to look at it.
You're the truth teller.
I am in the middle, so that is the way it works out.
I think I see Atlas crying in the audience right now.
Atlas,
He's really far away, and I know your eyesight isn't good enough.
You caught me once again.
Atlas is the most glass half full guy we have here on the desk, so.
Hey, it's a sunny disposition. It's to be admired. Even I can't aspire to be Atlas levels above them.
Well, here in this game. Oh, Chovy.
Now, Chovy in bad lanes on mid lane Aatrox has so often gone CS for CS, and wow. All right.
Okay.
He went whack-a-mole out of nowhere. Did anyone else see the solo kill button there? I didn't see it, but apparently Chovy did.
Well, Faker not
it looks
having...
like the dash was down, so Chovy just took that opportunity to say either you flash away from me or you ult or I'm going to kill you. So he got one thing out of Faker. It's one of those small traits that makes Faker look bad, but it's just a really good read by Chovy in the end.
Because the cleanse doesn't help in the 1v1 versus Aatrox at all. It's for the Sejuani ult as the game goes on. So that was why there was ultra respect there. Bot lane.
There it is, the flip you were looking for, but what is that? Tarzan puts it in the wrong spot. It's like he was delayed 3 seconds. Effer was there 3 seconds ago, but not when he went for the gank. And now we got a TP in the top lane. Clid, level 6, very ready to fight here.
Oh, the pillar!
It's gonna get that slow onto Dorn, and the flash comes in with the fighting. Clid will make the play in the top lane.
And the teleport came in, but it just wasn't able to do anything. Tarzan also didn't even have his ultimate. That was a fantastic pillar and follow-up from Clid all around. And that has to be mentally damaging the last 2 minutes for Griffin all across the board.
Second time's the charm against Doran. Notice that Doran has gone for a island build of Hex Drinker and Steer. Try to control the wave with little jungle attention. That's my only read on bringing back the tier Jace build that has been gone for a long time. Mid lane.
Trying to get the bait in. Chovy this time around is going to be able to flash away from this one. And now both mid laners will not have their flash, but Fakers will come up first, which could make for an interesting follow-up in the coming minutes.
Replay bot lane. It looked like this would be straightforward, but we're just not playing around our geometry at all.
He was lagging a little bit, you know, it happens. But, yeah, just not a good look there for Tarzan.
That was ultimately just a synergy failure. Teleport coming in from Sejuani, and you can see it just didn't matter. Goran was not able to be saved. And that's a spellbook usage down as well.
천천히 해 이거 다들.
Feeling it.
This is it with a funny little accent. Having some fun. You can see Khan doesn't seem very affected at all by the game number 3. It looks like he's put that out of his mind, and he has moved on to bigger and better things, which is definitely a good look if you are an SKT fan.
Definitely been able to evolve into a laner that can do that. Is bot lane. Lands still chasing.
Effort, great positioning, sitting there in the brush, says, I'm going to spot for this. We know that this is the lane that Sejuani's going to look to gank.
Re-engage.
And how about our team? We can gank too. We got the knockup on the Lahens, and good night, Sweet Bear. As down will he go. He did not have the flash. Used the Hex Flash earlier on, and it did not come to avail. Now Faker able to use the Azir to get so much distance away from the gank on the other side.
Khan's
and SKT
coming down.
are getting so many wins on the map right now. Tarzan has to be so careful. He has to back away. Otherwise, it would be a kill in Inferno instead of just the Drake.
Do you feel it, Papa?
I mean, these are definitely moments that Griffin will find it very hard to emerge from. We talked about their need to snowball. They're looking for a snowball themselves, SKT.
They're going to snowball.
Here's Jaws. We found you. See you later, Lehens. They pick up another kill. That's 274. More gold into the pockets of the Xayah.
So many lanes to play through, but if none of them are played through, that just means that SKT's very standard front to back teamfight comp is getting gold when they shouldn't be. Scaling issues, the lack of magic damage that will always be there for Griffin. Got more and more likely to rear their ugly heads. And nice play, and I love the roam down from Khan to make it academic.
Khan just there for added insurance to make sure that there would be no ability to contest out of Griffin. The other thing that's a nightmare scenario for Griffin is that the two champions you don't want to be getting all the gold is Azir and Xayah. And right now, Teddy, he has 2 of the kills. He has an Infernal. It is almost guaranteed SKT will get the second Infernal with the vastly superior scaling team composition.
Doran has to show so much respect. With us, with our map hacks, we know that actually the Akali is quite far away. But they've got no advanced vision anywhere on the map. One ward, I guess, spotting just behind the outer top lane turret, but that is only a modicum. Faker hasn't got any turret plates in a range versus melee matchup. We watch bot side and how quickly the power transfer can happen. Attempted gank onto effort went nowhere. The second time, they absolutely choose their man, and the Volibed dies twice without flashing.
And you can almost feel the tilt in the way that the champions are moving, and I know that sounds really bizarre, but you can just see that the pockets that they're playing in, the area of vision that they're choosing to be in the lane doesn't really make that much sense relative to their opponents, and it just seems like frustration of stuff not going right. And honestly, Lehens, he might be really tilted this game, especially because this is twice that bottom lane blundered the Sejuani appearances, and then he just bled another kill immediately after the Infernal.
And we all can kind of read the tape and say, well, you had a Sejuani who had to find a couple of ganks early. The bottom lane was the one lane you had to do it in. But now your bottom lane is behind, and your Sejuani hasn't really done much. The opposing jungler, 102, already has 100% kill participation, making the plays and getting the carries fed. SKT, fantastic spot, and Bless RNG is on their side because of the 2 Drakes. It's a bit unfortunate for Griffin. They bought themselves one last chance here in the series, but at the end of the day, it's not looking too good for them here in game number 4.
It's not all written in ink just yet, but SKT has so much control over the map. Look, your script was already wrong. Don't you even talk.
No. G-Sun's handwriting, it's not my fault.
She's not the script writer.
Yeah.
You're reading the wrong script the whole year. How'd you get lucky so many times?
All right.
Griffin's trying to fight this one.
Well, we'll see what he can do this time around. Tarzan got a nice little wrap around, but still they will go to Clit, and Lehens in an awful spot. Should be going down here to Khan. Able to pick up the kill. Doran finds something, but it's only 1 kill to the side. And SKT not done yet, but did they bait themselves in? Looks like the answer is no, as Khan and Teddy are so damn fed here and coming on in looking for so many more kills. It was, in fact, Griffin that baited themselves into the fight, not able to win anything at all. Just the kill here on the side of Doran. That's going to be the pillar, and they're looking for the kill here on the Chovy. Should be coming in here soon. Chovy doing a very good job of staying alive for so long, but Khan going to get that energy back and will put the nail in that coffin to make it 7-1 and a huge lead to SKT.
And now they're going to get a lot of damage on the mid-tier 1 turret with the Herald. Not the best usage, but they want to reset. They want to get that second Infernal Dragon.
That's why you use it like that, is so that you get the first back, you can come up with the vision, and the enemy already can't face check you. Fights like this, when SKT can fight in formation and Griffin are going right, left, up, down, really play into the hands of the Xayah and Azir. The amount of threat Teddy's under in this fight is basically 0. He can even start a step to pick up the Rift Herald on the way to cleaning up some kills.
I mean, the team composition really showing its head right there. It needed to be ahead in a fight like this. They're out of position. They get collapsed on. And then it's slim pickings. Chovy tries to run for his life at the very end, but now the Infernal Dragon being up, Griffin, they feel like they need to fight for it. They're going to lose the game right here.
The Bear once again in a very unfortunate spot. Solo will be going down, level 7. SKT on the chase. Take a look at Toby coming over the wall, though, trying to make a play. Does he have the AoE? He's got a stopwatch. They're going to be able to get Emperor, but it's only the support. And that will be SKT winning the fight by huge margins here. Looking for more is Khan, but Viper says no in the end. But it doesn't really matter. SKT get a 5,000 gold lead and a second Infernal. That looks like the second nail in the coffin.
They know that they're so close, they can no doubt smell it. Maybe they can even taste it with double Infernal. A 4,500 gold lead this early. Griffin, you were already kind of speculating for the hens. As Volibear, you have to be able to walk up and threaten, otherwise you have no function as a champion. Every time he's doing that into unwarded rushes, this bear is going on the endanger.
The hens just can't bear to be alive that much in this game, I'll tell you that much, Papa.
I can't bear that punch.
You can't.
You guys are unbearable. Jesus, stop.
Yeah, alright. Well, Griffin, they're feeling a bit cold in this game as the Infernal Dragon, another one is coming up.
Oh,
Xayah just got 15 AD off the last one.
Wow.
It's quite nice.
Great.
You like that?
No.
No?
I was pulling for the game 5, Alas, so no.
Yeah, there was a dream, right? We had a glance at the future. We thought maybe the script was wrong. We thought all of those predictions of 3-1 would be wrong, but as of right now, SKT are really trying to seal the deal here and make it known that they are by far the best team here in Korea. I mean, if they do it twice to Griffin like this, at least Griffin was able to win one game this time. But so far, it's looking like clear skies and smooth sailing for SKT onto a potential win here in summer.
Haven't the junglers been so pivotal one way or the other in this series? 1-0 and 8 on the Trundle in the first pillar gank. We scoffed at in the top lane. The return gank into the future play is much, much stronger, and really does feel like completed items versus thrift shopping as Tarzan trying to make something happen desperately.
And he is going to actually get the fight started here. Glid is going to go down, but it's 4 members of Griffin to make the play happen. I suppose it's one step at a time here for the Griffin squad. And that will be the first stepping stone for them to try to make it back in this game.
Their team composition is going to end up devolving now into a pick comp, which is not traditionally what it's designed to be, but it's all that they have left as an option. And the scary thing is even if you pick off one member of SKT, with the double Infernal, the base advantages that they have right now, SKT can still win a 4v5, which is a really horrifying thought if you are Griffin. And I don't know what they're going to do in 2.5 minutes when the next Infernal comes up, because you don't want to give that away for free too. But you just imagine it's going to be a really decisive SKT victory as Chovy going 1-on-1 with Khan.
Nice knock up there, but we do have Xayah coming in from behind. We got a 2-on-1 here, but Akali, not a lot of cooldowns available right now. Chovy trying to outstep it, but the Shuriken from downtown. Khan is going to put him in the grave as Teddy is able to set that one up with the red buff, even though the feathers were dodged for the root. So it's the 1 kill into pushing the mid lane. SKT get another win.
Viper will answer with an outer top lane turret, but doesn't matter. SKT trading up in a big way. Chovy's flash was seconds away from cooldown as the Xayah gap closed, but one shuriken to the heart later was a guaranteed kill coming through for the Akali. And then here are some lockout items. May I draw your attention to an Infinity Edge, and to LS's point about picking someone, either you pick kind of the tank engagers in Trundle and Rakan, or all 3 other threats are fed and farmed. So those 2 turn on you and you die. Flash not available through this, and Chovy has that half a second, like with a zillion bomb on his head, to understand his fate.
And the other thing about these 3 primary carries is that they all have forms of self-peel in a way that make them very awkward to try to hold down inside of a team fight, that just allows the other two, even if you can get onto one, to just rain down so much damage on you with the way that Griffin's team composition conducts itself in a fight as short-range champion.
And you think of those ults, the Feather Storm, the
Emperor's
Divide, and even if you just think about Akali's Shroud, which is not her ultimate, they're all aggro resets that allow you to turn around a team fight with, say, soldiers up as Chobi's in a lot of trouble.
We've seen a lot of Aatroxes in trouble in this series. This time, Khan is getting his revenge.
Play the music.
Like.
Play the music, Valdez.
What?
The yakety sax
Get
music.
the saxophone. Come on, Ellis. You didn't bring your saxophone?
So if Chobi could have pulled over more members and then somehow
he
Griffin...
can't.
No, but I think that what he's thinking is if I can pull more members...
All right, trying to get
something.
Faker here. That's a
wow.
nice amount of burst damage. And CC underneath the turret trying to bully the bear once again here, it looks like, from the side of SKT. And Khan coming in from behind. Looking to shut the door here on Griffin. He's going to get the one kill, and he's looking for more on the chase here. Trying to slow down Doran here, who goes for the flash. As Effort wants to slow down Tarzan, but they'll give up on Doran and set their sights on the big purple worm.
Doran will try to poke it off. Tarzan is being shown by Effort.
The best possible play here is to just Chobi teleport down, try to take Infernal. If you flip the Baron, you'll certainly lose the game.
Yeah, well, that looks like flipping something as Tarzan's life goes in the gutter. And it will come down to the smite here from Klid. Can he get it done? Khan is going to try to burst them away as the smite will be good. Toby tries his best. He's looking for a kill now, but he will not be able to do it. Down will go Doran, and SKT pick up the Baron.
And so now, Griffin, they're going to try to push out mid lane, attack Baron indirectly. Faker will stand in their way if they attempt to just try to burst down the Infernal Dragon. As all the other members of SK Telecom, they're barreling to it right now. Viper, what are you doing?
Oh, Chovy.
He's going to push out the wave first. It's very crucial, Valdez. Calm down.
You poor sweet summer child. Thought he had a chance there, but Klid is going to get the big zoom in as he will take out all of the wards here and take out a third Infernal for this SK Telecom T1 squad to just spike up their stats even more than they already were.
Time to start thinking about where you want to go for your celebration dinner and what your speech to Costa John will sound like. There's so much on the side of SKT. It's almost unconscionable for Griffin to come back in this game. I'd love to see a big engage, maybe a big Azir sect or something like that, but otherwise I feel like the Engraver can start to get his tools ready for the Eo-Ci-Kây trophy.
Let's just not see an Azir sect that goes on the other side of the Nexus and into the Fountain.
Hey, calm down over there.
What? Oh, man. No Corki in this game.
Yeah. But thankfully, we have avoided that. But we did get an Azir, and Faker seems like the lucky number for him could be number 9, as this would be his 9th win on the Azir, would be undefeated. Khan, he's playing Akali. He's totally fine. Gets out 1v4, as the first inhibitor will fall here at 24 minutes into the game.
Doesn't have TP to come back instantly, so they'll just take the one inhibitor and back away. Ocean Drake spawning. We're still way earlier than it feels. Actually only 24 minutes into the game. But you can't help but feel like Elder was around the corner. Nope, we're actually 10 minutes away from even the earliest possible spawn. Items are chock full everywhere. For some reason, we have a biased Griffin replay of the one good moment that's happened recently with their instant blow up onto Faker. But even that couldn't lead to much because Khan got backline after.
I mean, it really did look like a pretty biased Griffin replay as the timing that it ended up showing. But it didn't matter as the truth was eventually revealed. As SKT, they chased through. The correct play there by Griffin was to surrender Baron, teleport down to Infernal, try to burst it, sustain through Baron, and then take a better fight. They didn't do that. They tried to coin flip it. It didn't pan off that well.
Do you really win the game if you play that way, though?
No, but I think it's a better percent chance.
I don't know if I agree. I think YOLO throwing yourself at Baron when you're never going to get near it ever again might have been better than probably getting 95% just smothered out of game you outscaled it. So I don't think either of us technically 100% right or wrong, but when you're in that poop a situation, that is the correct word, poop situation.
It's true. That's
You gotta try something, right?
Nice. Nice word. Right there.
That's you put it as well as you
Supreme
possibly
over there,
could. Yeah.
Well,
And,
speaking of situations.
It's a pretty bad one here for the side of Griffin. They thought they had a chance here in the series up against SKT, but this wasn't it in game number 4. SKT just bringing it in real slow. Going to take out an inhibitor in the top side, even without the Byron buff. They're so far ahead. All the carries are fed. It's 3 Infernals. They're 12,000 gold in the advantage.
Who do we focus if we're Griffin? Is it just whoever dares to walk within melee range of Volibear? Like, what are we doing?
Effort, maybe.
Because your options are 4,000 gold ahead Xayah, a 3,000 gold ahead Azir, or a 2,000 gold ahead Akali. These are all not the best options. It's a sad time.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's no easy way to put it. And we thought that Griffin were coming back. They had a great showing in game number 3. It was a huge strategy with the support Shen. Khan looked like he was tilted, and we weren't sure if he was going to recover in time for game 4, but he absolutely did with the help of Klid, who, again, I feel like was a major winner in terms of the jungle matchup when it did come down to it in this game.
I want to compliment Khan because unflappable was not a word I would ever use to describe him, even during his dominant phase on Longzhu into King Zone. He would have streaky games where he just was the main reason the team lost and not be able to reset mental. He reset it pretty well as the bear is trying for something special.
Bear's out of hibernation, but he can't really seem to find the food.
Maybe he should go south for the winter. Going
I think
north
he's
seems
blind
bad.
like me. He's losing some sight.
And, well, Viper almost died. Khan able to dodge that one with a nice, perfect execution. He's able to take Viper out of the fight there, but only blows his heal. But it's enough time for them to push
Bears
into the mid
live
lane.
in the jungle. It's fine.
He's fine. Oh,
He's thinking about going back to sleep. You know, he thinks he woke up a little bit too early for this game. You know, it's still pretty cold if you're on the side of Griffin, from where we're sitting at least.
Well, greatly reluctant fighters are going to have to fight soon here.
Well, that's a flash on the Teddy, trying to make it happen. Lehens doesn't have a health bar. In goes Effort, gonna charge up everybody! And what a way to end the game. SKT gonna sweep Griffin here into the dumpster, and they are going to do it. SKT will sweep in the playoffs and take down every single team in their path. They are the most dominant team from the Korean region, and they are the very accurate winners of today.
See how much it means to Effort. He is the only new champion, no title previously. Starting support recently, pick up the title. SK Telecom 8-1 in Eo-Ci-Kei finals. Well deserved. They were a cut above all other contenders and the first ever team to run the entire gauntlet from wildcard and actually hoist the trophy.
You have to give it to them. They showed up in so many of the series in such dominant fashion. They dropped game 3 here today, but they bounced back in the most dominating game of the entire series here in game 4 against Griffin. And they're going to Worlds.
They both are, but spare a thought for Griffin, who can't go to Worlds with a title. They won Casper Cup. That's a forgotten trophy. Trophy case still largely bare. Doran brought in to give the team a new dimension, and you know, for a first best of 5, I don't think he was in any way a super poor player or a pedestrian in this game, but the better team definitely took down the trophy, and Griffin will try to have to manufacture something at Worlds. Their only happy point is that Samsung Galaxy were able to win the World Championship with never even making an Eo-Ci-Kei final.
Well, that's a happy point, but another one that I feel like a lot of people might not be thinking about after watching the series where they just lost to SKT, in what some might say, embarrassing fashion, given what they were supposed to live up to.
It was better than Spring.
It was a lot better than
Yeah.
Spring. But Griffin, always coming off of breaks, does look a lot more vulnerable and weak. But at Worlds, they're going to be playing actively. They're going to be in the group stages and then going into the bracket play because they're making up moves, Papa. Come on.
Sounds like we're going to get ready for that interview translation really soon.
Yeah, SKT, the champions here of the 2019 Eo-Ci-Kei Summer Split. They win in spring, they do it again here in summer. They're the only team to win both splits twice as well as an organization. And it looks like SKT is back in dominant form as long as they can avoid those slumps that they sometimes do fall into. We can all say that. Going into Worlds, though, they look like the strongest team and absolutely the scariest from the Korean region. So we are going to be hearing from them here on the stage. I can't wait to hear what they will have to say. I'm going to throw it over to Ji-Sun. She's going to do the translation for the interview. We'll be back after we hear from the players.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Season with the interview translation, and soon we'll be hearing from the full squad of SK Telecom, including the coaching staff, with Pastor John leading the interview.
자, 마이크 좀 주시고요. 네. 역대 SK의 역대급 SK의
So, SK Telecom made a new history in Eo-Ci-Kei. They won the 8th title.
놀라운 금자탑을 세웠습니다.
So let's welcome the victorious winners.
말씀을 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 김정균 감독.
So first,
스플랭에서 썸머너 역시 이 자리에서
let's hear from Goma.
소감이 어떻습니까? 그때는 막 아까 다리가 후두루두루 떨린다 그랬었는데.
I heard your legs were shaking last time, but what about today?
Well,
Our performance in the summer split was not really clean. However, the atmosphere in our team, the coaching staff, the players, the front, the office, we were really having a hard time. However, we made it to the finals and we won the title, so I'm really happy and I'm so proud of them.
확실히 두 번째 우승이어서 그런 거 사실 이번이
This is your
힘들긴
second
했거든요.
victory, so even though it was really hard, you guys were down to 9th place in Eo-Ci-Kei, but second victory or title as head coach, how do you feel right now?
감격이 없는 것 같아. 다리도 안 떨리고 어떻습니까?
You don't really that excited compared to spring split. I mean, it's time for the fans to believe SK Telecom T1. Because all of our team is doing such a great work. I mean, we had a bit of a slump. However, we were confident to make it back up here. However, the fans or people around us was not trusting us.
SK텔레콤은 안
Even the
믿었답니다.
fans,
여러분,
did you hear that?
시즌 초반에 5연패 때
You guys were not believing SK Telecom when they're losing 5 games in a row? When SK Telecom was so down on the ESPN ranking, you guys were not believing SK Telecom? The fans are saying no. Well, in the spring split, well, my legs were shaking, but right now, summer split, my head's not working well. I want to thank everybody who worked so hard for this. So who was the one that did not believe your team? I'm in our office, everyone was trusting us. Then who was it? Was that Dongjun Kim? Cloud Templar? I think I made a mistake. I just want to say the fans were the biggest motivation for us and we'll keep just doing the hard work.